It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it! Well,
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
champions.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. Last show, really, of the season, a disappointing season. We've got, obviously, Mo with us for after game thoughts and reaction to the game. 2-0 win. But just before I go to the game, Mo, obviously, we saw each other at the protest. I want to see what your thoughts are on the process and protest rather, not the process. And and anything interesting that you saw?
Bro, the protest was as bad as the process. You know, the protest was unsuccessful, and the process this season has been unsuccessful. And yeah, man, I was disappointed, honestly, about the protest because, you know, there were 10,000 people in the ground today, right? So I was expecting a number. Maybe not the whole 10,000. It could have been slightly less, could have even been slightly more because some people were there without going to the game, like myself. So I thought there should be thousands and thousands of people there. And I understand it was a little bit different because, so here's some plausible reasons why it was going to be lower, you know, maybe not well attended. The weather was poor. I don't know what other excuses can I come up with Arsenal fans.
I thought just the rain really. Some people must have looked at it. Don't really fancy going standing outside the Emirates in the rain and
yeah.
You know, weather. I thought maybe about 400 people.
That's rubbish. But if that's the only excuse we can come up with as to why people didn't turn up, I can come up with many excuses why people should turn up.
Yes,
because this is our last game of the season. Because usually when we're saying Kroenke out, there's. Let's say, for example, we're protesting and we're saying Kroenke out, and Kroenke actually comes outside and says, "Okay, fine, you want Kroenke out, but what can I do? Someone has to buy my shares." You know, you can't just dump them on the side as he leaves. You know, he's actually got to sell them. But now we've got someone to get behind. That should have galvanized us to protest. Yeah. We could be saying Kroenke out with more vigor because Daniel Ek is giving him the get out. That's the out part of Kroenke out. That should have encouraged more people. Well, another thing that should have encouraged more people was the fact that there was a game afterwards. You know, there's thousands of people going into the ground. So I'm disappointed. And on one hand, us fans, we have a go at the players when we see a poor performance in midweek up north in cold weather in November. And we say rain or shine, snow, whatever, the players should turn out. But then we didn't. We're sitting here saying, a bit of rain.
It wasn't good. And you know, I think maybe, you know, Stan Kroenke would look at it and say, well, this is a lot less than the last one. Maybe it's a bit of a less pressure on me. Yeah. It doesn't do Daniel Ek any favors either because a big protest would have helped his cause a bit more, where Stan would have looked at this and said, you know, this is not going away. Maybe it's about time. So,
Stan Kroenke would look at this and he'd look at it and say, can I deal with that level of pressure? Yeah. It's not too bad.
Maybe a couple of good signings. This won't happen again for the rest of the season.
Daniel Ek would look at that and he'd say, do I feel like this fan base is really behind me? Do I feel like I can really get them on my side to help me with this? Probably not.
Yeah, it was a bit underwhelming, if that's the word I need to. You know, a lot of people like yourself, a lot of other people, I saw they made an effort to come all the way. There was a guy that we met who was coming from South Wales. There was another guy from Sheffield.
I met that
from Hastings. Do you remember? You said that's the guy I was telling you. Said take a picture with me. And these guys, they didn't even have ticket for the game. And I thought these guys made the effort to come all the way, but people who live in London, they didn't make the effort. So it's a bit disappointing. But we won the final day of the season. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. There's not going to be any European football. So, your thoughts on the game?
Look, man, my thoughts are that the protest today was more important than the game. And as Arsenal fans, you know, if that's how we protest on the last game of the season, when all of this stuff has happened with Kroenke recently, and we've got Daniel Ek in the shadows, If that's what our reaction is, then kind of we get what we deserve. We're not forcing the issue. So next year, when we're achieving nothing under Stan Kroenke, well, we can't really complain that much, can we? Because you know, why don't we reflect that level of passion? We can't complain and get all bothered and then not take the effort. So we get what we deserve, I guess. And as for the game, I'm really happy for Nicolas Pepe. He's ended the season strongly and scored a couple of goals today. And, you know, you expect to win, but what does it matter, man? The pressure's off. We've achieved nothing.
Yeah.
I don't care. I actually did not care at all whether we're in the Conference League or not, because on one hand, I thought to myself, you know, I don't care about winning the Conference League, and we should be finishing in the top 6 anyway to qualify for the Europa League, irrespective next season of the Conference League. But the only thing where I thought, is there any positives to finishing in the Conference League that make me want to finish in that position today, 7th today? I would be just saying that, look, you know, the Carling Cup or the League Cup is Carabao Cup now. I'm just giving away my age. But that's the only time where you can play youngsters and other players that don't get a lot of game time, and it doesn't really matter. Even in the FA Cup, people want to win that trophy, so you can't just do it all the time. And I thought the Conference League, I would turn around and say, Joe Willock, you are my Conference League captain. Yeah. You know, I would say that it's not like the Premier League team that goes and plays there, but it's some fringe players and a lot of young players. So I'd say, Willock, if Nketiah is still at the club, or whether it's Balogun or whatever, you guys are leading the line for me. And Cedric hasn't had a lot of game time. You're playing in that. Matt Ryan, you're playing in that. Go out and win it. It's your trophy to win. And that would have... that would have helped a lot of the youngsters, because youngsters, when it comes to playing competitive games, and you know that's rare. And also, when have youngsters ever got to play competitive games but get European experience as well? That's unheard of. So we could have treated this like the League Cup, but a European version, and it would have had no impact on our Premier League, or very minimal impact on our Premier League squad, because we only would have maybe put in a couple of players to do the travelling and stuff from there. But I would have given it to youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was not really something that us fans would be saying, "Oh, we need to go all out to get, you know, secure this European spot." And maybe it's a blessing in disguise that we're not going to play any European football. I don't think it would affect us in the transfer window, because I think there is still enough about Arsenal Football Club to attract players, maybe just for a season, to get away with this and then get back on the European scene. What did you thought of the performance today?
Yeah, it was fine, man. But honestly,
anybody stood out for you?
Pepe with the goals. You know, I feel like when you look at his stats, right, it's quite strange, because people always say he's not a £70 million player, and I'd expect more from a £17 million player, but he does always manage to just creep up with goals and goal contributions, assists, whatever. He manages to, and fair play to him, man. I just hope that he can go onwards and upwards and start getting himself in the score sheet, getting his assists more and more. So I was happy with Pepe today. But again, it's a game when the pressure's off. I don't judge the players on games like this. I judge the players when it's Villarreal, second leg. That's the game I judge you on. I judge you on, the tough games when the pressure's on. That's what it comes down to. Because if you're a team that achieves nothing, you'll get a lot of games like today, because your season will end a lot quicker. Yeah. But when you're a serious team, the pressure constantly stays on and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because every game means more and more and more, because you have to maintain your position at the top, to achieve something, or as you go into a latter stages of a cup competition or whatever. A team like Arsenal, when the pressure gets too much in February and you drop off, games like this will come up, and the result doesn't tell me anything. Yeah,
look, we should be beating Brighton at home.
Of course.
It's not, they haven't really pulled up any for everybody to say, oh, that was it. No, it's a routine result. It's expected of them. They should have performed more like this throughout the season. Maybe we would have been in a different place. I thought Thomas Partey played well today. He managed to get a couple of shots on target, which was good for a change. He was unlucky not to score. That was a good move with Xhaka and Thomas Partey. I want to ask your thoughts on one more player, Bissouma. What was your thoughts on him?
Do you know what? Not so much today. Like Bissouma today is not, what you wouldn't have a highlights reel of him today saying, "Oh, what a great player." So if any Arsenal fans are watching Bissouma today, or looking out for him today, that's not what I'm talking about now, but I'm talking about him overall, all season. I think he's been a really, really good player for Brighton, and I would love actually Arsenal to sign him. You know, a lot of people like Xhaka. Some people don't like Xhaka. A lot of people have changed their mind about Xhaka. I personally think, from what we've seen of Granit Xhaka over the many, many years, he's not the player that Arsenal should be banking on in the middle of the park. He's not reliable enough for me, and he's not sort of agile and dynamic enough. Bissouma, to me, is a really, really good player. Way too good for the Championship. He has to move, and I would be very happy if Arsenal signed Bissouma. And if we signed Bissouma and Xhaka went out the door, I'd be very content with that. And I'd say all the best to Xhaka. I don't hate Xhaka. I'm not one of these people that's going to like start abusing him and everything. It's never been my style. But I just think that Xhaka is not as good of an option as Bissouma. What about you?
Yeah. No, listen, I've been impressed just like you with him throughout the season. One thing I liked about him, because this was actually the first time, I'm going to admit, that I actually saw him play for 90 minutes. I like the way he tackles and he gets the ball back. His recovery challenges is really good. We signed Thomas Partey for this, but this season it really hasn't happened with Thomas Partey. And I think you're right. If we do sign him, then we can't have Elneny, Xhaka, Thomas Partey and Bissouma all because they all want to play. So I can't imagine Granit Xhaka being content with being a backup for either of these two. So one of them do need to go out of the window. I know we're only doing a fan cam today, and we're only going to do it for a very limited amount of time. And I just want to end it with you like this. Josh Kroenke was in a stance today, right? So if you were to meet him and you saw him, you have to tell him one thing to do right this summer. They're not going to go anywhere, we're going to assume, right?
Yeah.
What would be your advice to Josh Kroenke of what to do in the summer? Also, why do you think he came? Because they don't normally come to London unless there is something happening.
That second question is a really good question, you know. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
And in terms of the one thing, right, you know, the thing that everyone, when people ask that question, the first thing that comes to mind is people would say, I would say, sell the club. But we're trying to have a more sensible conversation than that. What you're asking me, that's obvious, right? So what I would say is that I would like him. I would personally like Josh Kroenke. If I can make one request that I think is realistic, is fan representation on the board, but with voting rights, and like, you know, with that sort of golden share rights. Yeah. Now, recently Chelsea said they're going to put fans on the board. When I first saw that statement, I thought, oh, brilliant, really good on them. And then when I read it more carefully, effectively, when you really cut through the nonsense of that statement, what they were saying was, we'll follow you on Twitter. Effectively, they were saying that. There was, because what they said, you're on the board, yes, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They make it sound like it's really good, but effectively, they can just listen to you and ignore you. Yeah. So they're getting the pat on the back for bringing some fans to the board, but the fans have no say. They don't have to be listened to. So I would say to Josh Kroenke, do it and do it properly. That's the first step. Start treating fans not just with respect, but as equals to you. That we are we're more important than you. Start listening to us, start dialogue with us regularly, and start allowing fans to have a say on decisions via a golden share at the club. That would be my first thing. I would have many requests for him, but that would be my first. If I had an elevator pitch for him, that'd be it.
That's fair enough. And also, last time the Kroenkes was here, they were here to sack Unai Emery, as far as I can remember. I don't think they're going to sack Mikel Arteta, but I don't know. Maybe it's a good sign that maybe they actually are serious about this summer plans and they actually want to do things. It wasn't a final. It wasn't a full stadium. It was a nothing game, really. So it was interesting to see them here.
And if you'd asked me the question before the game today, do you think any of the Kroenkes will be here?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
I would have said, don't be stupid. Of course not. Why are they going to turn up to Brighton? So it's a valid question. I hadn't actually thought of it, but and obviously I don't know the answer. I can only tell you my guess.
Yeah.
My guess would just be that just token appearance, final game, token appearance. be seen to be clapping them off, all of that rubbish. No meaning to it. But I hope that's not the case, and I hope that he's here for some proper work. And if he is here to sack Mikel Arteta, well, actually, I don't mean this to be nasty to Mikel Arteta, but the fact is he's completely underperformed in a season where managers had the insurance of a Conference League. He hasn't even been able to qualify for that, for God's sake. It's been abysmal. His performance over 2 legs against Villarreal, unforgivable. The way he almost single-handedly got us out of the FA Cup with his awful selection, and the way he didn't take any notice of that trophy or didn't take it seriously, really, really annoyed me. And that is after winning it and getting so much praise last year. It's been an awful season. So if Kroenke has come today to sack Mikel Arteta, that's fine by me.
He is welcome. Yes, he is. We've got a super chat. I just want to read that out. Fantastic show, guys, from Aaron Benjamin. Thanks, man. Thanks for your contribution. Mo, we're loving it at Arsenal Lounge. Hope to see you more. We are loving Mo at Arsenal Lounge, and we hope to see more of Mo going forward and more in next season as well. One thing Kroenkes can do, Mo, in my opinion, to get the fans on board a little bit and calm this whole thing down, is to get rid of Mikel Arteta and bring in a proper manager in and give him a budget. That would calm a lot of things down. Whether they would actually do this or not, it's a different thing. But listen, 15 minutes we've been going on. Anything you want to add? Or I know you'll be getting a lot of love from the guys on the comments in here and on the comments on the previous show. So it's good. And we're happy to have you loving a t-shirt.
And
it's good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. It's nice to be able to wear this with no unwarranted comments or any pressure. Thank you very much. But listen, what I would say is that thank you to you at the Arsenal Lounge.
Because pleasure having you.
You guys have shown me a lot of love, and I appreciate that. And every single person, honestly, I just want to take this moment because it's the last game of the season. I don't know when I'm next going to be. Obviously, I'll respond to Robbie, and I'll be doing that in the next few days. But when all of this kicked off, the amount of love that people have shown to me, not just yourself, but everyone online, I have to say a big, big thank you. And not only that, I don't condone like any abuse or anything, to AFTV or Robbie or anyone else, but only because of the pressure that all of you guys put on AFTV did I get the decency of, actually some sort of recognition of the fact that I'm no longer on the channel. Otherwise, it seems to me like all that they were trying to do was just brush me under the carpet as if I was just an irrelevance to them. And after 7 years of contributing to that channel, I thought that was very, very poor. So thank you very much for everyone who has forced that. And the statement that has been released is not reflective of the truth. And I will be doing that in the next few days. I will be putting my side of the story forward. But people, just for your awareness, I'm so busy these days, man. I've got a baby who's 12 weeks old. I've had various commitments. I had friends coming over to my house from Spain yesterday. Yesterday, and I had to go and meet some people that came in from America. I've got people coming over today. I've got someone coming over tomorrow. It's just manic for me. I will get there. And my mantra on this whole issue in terms of responding is that I'm only going to respond once. And the reason for that is because I'm going to do it properly. Okay? I'll do it properly and I'll do it once. If I don't do it properly, I'm going to have to continually talk about this. Yeah. So that's why I'm taking my time, fulfilling my obligations, my commitments that I've got. But trust me, I'll give you my side of the story. And yes, there will be things in there that aren't currently in the public domain. And I had one guy come up to me at the protest today. Loads of people came up to me at the protest today, and they were talking to me, not about Arsenal, about this issue. And thank you to all of them, because everyone was so lovely and warm and appreciative. Only one person came up to me today, though, with a complaint about, oh, why are you doing all this politics? And when I finished telling him what had actually happened that isn't in the public domain, he was completely sort of on my side and put his hands up and said, yeah, fair enough. So it'll be interesting to see once I tell my truth, what people's reactions are, not just those who have been supportive, but those who have potentially been critical or on the opposite side of the fence. So that's the
obviously. No problem, brother. On your time, obviously, as you said, this is quite busy in Haida household right now. People coming in, going, sleepless night, baby crying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always, listen, it's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, man.
And we look forward to having you again soon. It's the last game of the season, so it's a break for everybody. I think all of us Arsenal fans would deserve a break. We can hope for a very, very successful and busy summer, outgoings and incomings rather. And we'll just hope that it will be a better season next time around.
Fingers crossed. And we'll be in touch. I'll be on here next season as well, and hopefully with some nice, new, good signings and a much better season next year.
Definitely, man. Thank you for coming on again, Mo. Cheers.
Bye.